you've put on a lot of big heavyweight fights in the past. I mean, John, Stipe, we know all the big heavyweight fights. You think this is the biggest one, though? Maybe
Yeah,
the
this is
GOAT
a big.
against the best heavyweight?
Yeah, I think because Stipe hasn't fought in a minute, people are sort of disrespecting him and overlooking him. But that's been his whole career. He's always been the underdog, um, and he always comes out on top. So that being said, he's taking on Jon Jones, the greatest to ever do it on Saturday, who absolutely buzzsawed through Cyril Gahn in his first heavyweight fight. So it's going to be interesting.
Does If John wins this fight, does that also make him not just the greatest ever, regardless of division, but also then the greatest heavyweight ever? Because he would have, at that point, obviously, he would have beaten Stipe.
Yeah, Stipe and Cyril Gahn, who was number one when he came in. Yeah, I mean, it's already undeniable that this guy is the greatest of all time. And if he wins on Saturday night, then turns around and fights Tom Aspinall. The Tom Aspinall Jon Jones fight will be probably the biggest heavyweight fight we've ever done by
Yeah,
a long shot.
massive. I see people online, Dana, suggesting like John is ducking or scared of Tom. I could never imagine Jon Jones being scared of anybody in an octagon. Why do you think that he has resisted that potential next fight? And you've made it clear, hey, John, this is going to be the next fight. He's the interim champ. Why do you think John's been resistant?
Jon Jones isn't afraid of anybody in the octagon or out of the octagon. This guy has a very dark side to him, and yeah, there's during COVID when all the riots were happening and stuff, he walked down the streets of Albuquerque and was like slapping people and taking spray cans out of their hands that were doing graffiti and like, yeah,
I remember those
he's
videos.
got guns and the dogs and he's good. Jon Jones isn't afraid of anybody, and I think that he gets in this weird place when he's fighting. It's almost like he's got Stipe on Saturday. When it's over, Jon Jones will disappear. You won't hear anything from him. You won't see him again. And then that the competitive spirit will start bubbling, and he'll say, "I'm ready to fight Tom Aspinall." That's how it all works with him.
So you would be shocked if this was the last time we saw John in an octagon tomorrow night.
I wouldn't be shocked if he said, I retire tomorrow night. That wouldn't shock me at all. I mean, he's earned it. I mean, the guy's 37, 38 years old now. He's beat everybody. He's never lost. 16 years, the youngest heavyweight champion of all time, right? And when you think about the gauntlet of people that he went through in the light heavyweight division and how he finished them, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, and it would suck, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I hope I echo that. I hope that's not the case. We always ask you, hey, who's the next guy, Dana, on the roster? Obviously, I think a lot of people think Bo Nickal is a guy who's got a incredibly bright future in your promotion. This seemingly is his toughest test, obviously, a big step up in competition here. What about Bo Nickal and his fight, Dana?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you're looking at a guy that like has 6 fights, taking on a guy who has like 25 fights. Yeah. So this is a huge step up for him. He asked for this fight. He wanted to be tested. He's going to be on Saturday night. If he rips through Paul the way he's ripped through everybody else, then he's ready. He's ready for a top 15 guy.
Right. So huge moment for him. Dana, it's funny. Obviously, this is going down at Madison Square Garden. I remember a time when New York State, they wanted nothing to do with MMA. It seems like they like having MMA now, and especially they like having the UFC come through their state. With the gate and the excitement and all that. Is that a bit satisfying to see the way New York has come around with the UFC?
Very satisfying. This is the number 2 biggest gate of all time at Madison Square Garden. Now the UFC holds the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 6, number 8, and number 9 all time. 7 of the top 10 biggest gates ever at MSG.
Obviously, tomorrow is going to be a packed house. This is a hot ticket. There was a guy who on November 5th, he had a pretty big night, a pretty big win in your close friend, Donald J. Trump. Will the president-elect, be in the building tomorrow? There's been a lot of people talking about whether he was going to attend the fight, Dana.
Well, I think that anything is possible. He's a big fan. Who knows? He could pop in.
If he does, what do you think that moment will be like? We've seen him during the campaign. We've seen the when he walks out of that tunnel with you, and it's just an electric feeling. Even watching on TV, what do you think that would feel like potentially tomorrow if it does happen?
Huge. But it's crazy when you think about it. When you think about fighter walkouts, whenever a fighter walks out to I mean, the two biggest that actually shake the arena are President Trump and Conor McGregor, two of the
Yeah,
biggest fight walkouts ever.
right.
So yeah, if he comes tomorrow night, it will definitely be fun.
That'll be awesome. Before I let you go, how about Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler? Obviously, a lot of implications there, title picture and whatnot. How do you see that fight?
I think that today at the weigh-ins, we should cut the checks for $50,000 for fight of the night and just hand it to him after weigh-ins. It's impossible for that not to be the fight of the night.